Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Bird's Nest. Please like, comment, and subscribe to get your football updates through the season and all the Shedeur updates for the off season. Well, as you can see, it's still dark outside. I'm on my way to work, trying to beat rush hour traffic. And I just wanted to come on because I know that the depth chart came out yesterday. And it looked the same way that it did before the game. So, according to the depth chart, Shedeur is still QB4. Well, I learned things from football players and coaches. I told you guys that I've been watching, I've been a die-hard football fan for 2 years. Now, I was a football fan before that, but I was not a die-hard football fan. I was a very sometimey football fan. Panthers been my team for over 20 years, but I barely watched them. I watched the Super Bowl, and really that would be about it. Russell Wilson got me into... At least I was into him, so I would look at his stats. I would go to his games against the Panthers. I think it was like one. I've been to Panthers game. I've been to more games prior to Shedeur and Dion going to Colorado. I had been to more games than I had watched on TV, not counting the Super Bowl. I always watch the Super Bowl. But since I've been a die-hard football fan, with Dion and Shedeur, I learned from coaches and players about football. And in this off-season, I have learned the most about the NFL. But from those guys. And so I learned about the importance of reps. And I learned yesterday about that depth chart. Some show my algorithm is right. Everywhere I go. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, all Shedeur comes up. So I get to look at a lot of resources related to Shedeur. And there's this show that I would never watch because I don't like those people. But I watched them 2 days in a row because they were talking about Shedeur. Good and bad. But there's a coach on that show. And he said, because the depth chart had come out, he said that depth chart doesn't mean anything. The NFL makes them put out those depth charts. They don't want to put them out, and they don't put any thought into them. They be like, so the depth chart came out before the game. If the NFL was like, put out a depth chart, they was like, put out the same one from the last time. He said it could have been that, and it probably would be that. They don't want the public knowing their plans. So, we don't know what that depth chart means. What he said happens. He said, what they do, they don't put it on the depth chart, but they do things in practice that tells the media. Eventually, the media figures out what the depth chart is. And that goes by the reps. That's what I learned from the football players. Reps are everything. And I know that them splitting these reps 4 ways is crazy. All football players say that. Reps are so valuable for your development. So, like Shedeur has never been treated like a 5th round pick. Never. He's barely treated as a rookie. Rookies get hazed. And I'm sure he deals with some hazing, but he doesn't deal with the lower level hazing, like having to carry equipment and all that stuff. So he's never, he kind of be getting special treatment because of who he is. Well, for one thing, because they know he's not they know he's a top 5 pick, for one thing, and he is the biggest celebrity in the NFL, bar none. There's no bigger celebrity in the NFL than him. So, a normal 5th round pick would barely get any reps. Now, I know y'all think that he's barely getting any reps, but 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 reps is not barely getting reps. That's getting reps. He been getting reps consistently, regardless of who they're with. It doesn't matter who they're with, because other 5th round picks ain't getting none. Might get 1, might get 2. Nah. I think the lowest that Shedeur has ever had, except for the day he was injured, was 4. And that was low. But that was one day. Only one. Normally he's getting 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, so the coach was saying it will come out other ways if he moved up the depth chart. It came out. The practice after the game, for the first time ever, Shedeur got the most reps in practice. That's evidence that he moved up the depth chart. I'll tell you what else would be evidence. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. A lot of people think that because Shedeur played 3 quarters, that, to be fair, Dylan will also play 3 quarters. Well, up to this point, we've been saying it wasn't fair. This quarterback competition wasn't fair because it was really going in the order that they were taken. Clearly, QB1 is between Flacco and Pickett, and then the backup would be Dylan or Shedeur. But everybody else was getting reps with the 1s, except Shedeur. And that means to me, if Shedeur really did move ahead of Dylan, as the reps indicate, he may not play 3 quarters. They're not trying to be fair because Shedeur already knocked him out of position, and just like Dylan was benefiting from his draft position and getting reps that Shedeur was not getting, now Shedeur will be getting reps that Dylan's not getting, and that may include the game. So let's be on the lookout for that. Let's see what happens in the game if Shedeur plays a half and Dylan plays a half. If that happens, Shedeur is ahead of Dylan in the reps because he played 3 quarters and Dylan played none in the previous game. So if it's 50-50, it's not really 50-50. And it could possibly be that Shedeur played 3 quarters again and Dylan only played 1. So let's see how that works out. I already suspect that Dylan's not going to play well. Oh, and then they're also expecting, since Shedeur got a start, let's let Dylan get a start. If Shedeur really stole Dylan's spot, Shedeur might be started. I don't know because they did put out that public depth chart that would dictate that Dylan starts. Because it says 3 on that public depth chart. So we'll see how it goes. I just wanted to fill you guys in on that. The fact that just because he says QB4 on the depth chart, we don't know what that means. And still, I'm gonna go along with Coach. I'm not even gonna assume what it means for the game because it barely has any bearing on the game. And I expect Kevin Stefanski still has not named anyone the day 1 starter. Everybody's assuming it's Flacco and that Flacco can't even lose the job, but based on the reps before Kenny Pickett went down, it was looking like Stefanski wanted it to be him. He didn't want it to be Flacco. During OTAs and mandatory minicamp, Flacco barely got reps. I got a video on the reps. Flacco barely got them. In 2 days, he didn't get them at all. 0. I don't think that has anything with him already knowing and the reasons that people were giving for it. The fact that he was not getting reps was a big deal. To me, it meant Kenny was in first place at that time. But then Kenny got injured, so they had to get Flacco up to speed. They got to get somebody up to speed with the ones. And really, to me, they probably should get 2. It can't be Dylan. Throughout the offseason, Shedeur has outperformed Dylan. And I think that's why the game made it decisive that he is ahead of Dylan now, because he's been performing above him, despite the fact that they've really been trying very hard to develop Dylan by giving him a lot of reps. A lot of reps. Through OTAs and mandatory minicamp, he got the majority of the reps over all the quarterback candidates. Not because he was QB1 at that time, because training camp hadn't started yet, but because they were trying to develop him to look like a 3rd-round pick, because they took him way too early. And they somebody believed in him. I don't know who it was, if it was Andrew Berry or if it was Stefanski believed in him. And so they tried to coach him up, but it didn't work. So we'll see what happens in the game. I don't want to make assumptions, but if I had to make a guess, I would say that Dylan's probably not going to perform as well as Shedeur in Saturday's game. And then maybe the next public depth chart, who cares? Maybe it'll say that Shedeur's QB3, but now that I know that it doesn't even matter and the coaches don't like to put them out, I won't even be paying any attention to that depth chart. And I mean no part of it. Not the Flacco at the top, none of it. Not the injured Kenny Pickett in at 2. You don't get to stay at 2 for 3 weeks of being injured. So that's weird in itself. I'm not worried about that. Now, I will say, coincidentally, I live in North Carolina, so that's why I went to Shedeur's first game. Well, guess what? I'm moving to Philadelphia. My house is sold, the closing is scheduled, the inspections are done. I'm moving to Philadelphia. So this weekend, I'm going to Philadelphia house hunting. I know I shouldn't go to the game. I shouldn't, right? Because I just went to one. These games are expensive. And if I go to the game, I'm going to have to get a hotel room for 2 nights instead of 1 while I'm up there. I want to go to the game. I want to see Dylan play. I'm going to look at seats. And that's my problem. I can't settle for a nosebleed seat. I would never. I can't. I be wanting good seats. I be wanting great seats. And they're expensive. But I think I should do it because I did budget this year in my mind for 2 games. And the fact is, none of the teams, so the Panthers weren't playing against anybody that I wanted to see the whole season. And I checked the Eagles, now I'm moving to Philly, and they're not playing against anybody I want to see the whole season. So, and I checked the Giants, because all these nearby now. I checked the Giants, they aren't playing anybody. The Jets, they aren't playing. I need to check the Ravens and the Commanders. Those are the last 2 teams I can check to see if they're playing anybody that I want to see. Yeah, no, I checked the Browns already. They're not playing any of those teams that are in that area because Baltimore and Washington, even from down here, I would go to those games. Last season, I went to games in Washington and Baltimore to see Russell Wilson. So, I think I already checked. It's so weird how I can have all these teams that I like, and it'd be so hard for me to find games to go to anywhere near me. With players that I'm interested in. So I should go to the game because it'll be my last game of the season. Yeah, I'm going. I'm going to the game. Let me just check these ticket prices because they be talking about how the ticket prices go up when Shedeur is playing, but they don't. I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, ticket prices are expensive. Period. It's ridiculous. So I just want to check in, let y'all know. Don't y'all pay no attention to that depth chart. It doesn't mean anything. Shedeur got the most reps in practice. The practice after the game. We'll find out today if that continues because they have joint practice with the Eagles today and tomorrow. He won't get any first team reps, or he's not scheduled to. Stefanski said that QB1 would be getting all the first team reps in these joint practices. That was the focus. That is the focus, to get them prepared for the season. And right now, that's Flacco. It's going to be terrible if somehow Shedeur wins that job and he hasn't gotten any of the reps, man. That's going to be weird. So I don't know. Maybe it's not even possible for him to win the job. Maybe that's what it is. It's not possible. And the reason why Stefanski hasn't named QB1 yet is because he wants Kenny to come back desperately and win that job. So we'll see what happens. But you guys have a good day. It's a rainy day where I am. Don't know about you. But you guys have a good day. Love you guys. Oh, and don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Mwah.